Hey y'all, my name is Cheyenne and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about something a little bit different than what I normally talk about or do videos on. Normally I do like fashion or the Boys Chronicles or something like that. Today, as you can see by the title, I'm going to be talking about anxiety and all the things that come with it. So I'm going to try not to be all over the place with this video because like I've been thinking about doing it for like since I've known about it. But it's hard to put it into words and to like tell my story. I guess it's a little bit more personal than my other videos and like what I've told people or like what people know about me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started and share my story of growing up and living with anxiety and depression and mood swings and wanting to sleep all the time, like all the stuff that comes with it. So I'll just go ahead and get started. So whenever I was in elementary school, like I didn't know anything about anxiety. I didn't think there was anything really wrong with me. Like it wasn't a big deal. I guess I was just so young. Like I didn't notice anything. But once I got to middle school and high school, that's when I realized that there's something like different about me and that I wasn't like all the other kids around me, and like I just didn't know what was going on and I didn't talk about it, so I just kept it all bottled up inside. So when I was 10, me and my family moved to a different state and I had to start all over again, and I was 10, we started middle school. So it was new school, it was new people that I never met, like I didn't know anybody else there, like it was super scary and I was very nervous, like as anybody would be, but it was just way more than that, like to find out. So the school that I went to, like I didn't never felt like felt like I fit in there, mostly because like I went to like a predominantly all white school, and so there was probably like 3 or 4 of us that were not. So like I always felt like they're like, obviously that I was like an outsider anyways, and a lot of the kids made fun of me a lot throughout, middle school and high school, but that's just how kids are. Like it is what it is. But I was always really afraid to literally talk in school. Like everybody always said, "Oh, Cheyenne, you're just so shy," which like my name is Cheyenne, so that was annoying too. But they just would literally say it over and over again, and like I would literally get so mad. I'm like, okay, like I understand like that I don't like to talk. Like what don't you understand about that? Like why do you keep telling me that I'm shy? Like I understand, but like if you look up like what shy is, that's like it's not anything close to what and like being anxiety ridden and having anxiety is. Like shyness goes away and you like grow out of it. Like I clearly never grew out of it. So I got made fun of a lot, and that definitely didn't help my self-esteem or anything like that. And then also like every time during class, like when I knew the answer to a question, like I literally would not raise my hand or say it even though I knew the answer and I wanted to say it so bad, because like my mind would not let me. Like it kept telling me like, no, Cheyenne, like you're gonna be wrong and they're gonna make fun of you, or that's just not the right answer. Like why are you even trying to like talk? Like what is wrong with you? And so like that's what my mind like always would tell me over and over and over again, and I didn't understand why. And like even like some of my friends are like, what is wrong, like why don't you just say what you want to say, like, and I didn't know how to tell them that. Like I literally could not. Like I was so deathly afraid of talking and saying out loud and people judging me that I just didn't talk, period. And like clearly like after a few years, like there's parts of me that like I found friends, and like when I was with my friends, like I would talk to them a lot. Like anybody that now that I know that I'm friends with, they're like, wow, yeah, she never shuts up, like all she does is talk, like she's not whatever. But when I was younger, like that wasn't really the case. And like even all the way up to my senior year of high school, like I knew these same 60 kids for 8 years. Like that's a long time. Like that was literally half of my life, and I was still afraid to talk to them, to talk in front of them, to just to do anything in front of them. And I didn't understand, like literally I just didn't understand why. And so then like on top of being made fun of all the time because I didn't look like everybody else and being scared to talk, like then I'm going through all this other stuff, like I want to date boys and I want to do this, and I literally can't. Like guys won't even talk to me because I literally don't talk. Like I'm literally invisible is how I felt. And so then I'm going through all that kind of stuff. So on top of like being anxious all the time, like not wanting to go to school, being so scared, like I also was super upset and depressed all the time because I felt like I wasn't really me. Like I couldn't be myself in front of anyone, and I couldn't say what I wanted to say. Like I couldn't be like the outgoing bubbly person that I really felt like I could be. I couldn't be just the person I wanted to be. Like, it was just horrible. It was like there was a shell over me, and I couldn't get out from underneath it. Like, that's how it was. And like I said, I never talked to anybody about any of this. Like, that's just how I felt. And like, there's so many nights, especially like the end of middle school and high school, I literally just cried myself to sleep every single night because I thought there was something wrong with me, and I didn't understand like why my brain thought the way that it did. Like, it didn't make any sense, and I was just super miserable. And like, I would go to school all day and smile and pretend that everything was fine because like I couldn't let it, like, I didn't know how to tell anybody else, like, no, there's literally something wrong with me. Like, clearly there's nothing wrong with any of you. Like, you guys are all being loud and laughing and being obnoxious, don't care what other people think, and even if you do, like, obviously you don't care that much. And like, literally just sitting there all the time, like, just scared to death. Like, I didn't understand what was going on with my brain. So anyways, fast forward through all my years of middle school and high school, very traumatizing for me. Didn't really understand, now looking back, like, I understand why, like, I felt that way, because now eventually I found out that I had anxiety, and like that I was depressed sometimes, and I had a lot of stuff going on mentally. And so just a little background, like, my mom's side of the family, and I think even some of my dad's side of the family, have a lot of like anxiety problems. Like, my mom has really bad anxiety and panic attacks and stuff like that, and my sister does. Like, both of them take medicine for it. And even like my mom, she grew up with it too, and nobody said anything about it, and she didn't get diagnosed with anxiety until she was like 30 something. Like, she literally went through a whole life, nobody knew what was going on. And so like, I knew that they had anxiety, but I didn't really know what it meant. Like, I grew up knowing that like my mom and my sister were, were anxious about stuff, but like, it didn't click in my mind that that's what was wrong with me too. And so then, like, my big like aha moment in life was my senior year of high school. I was literally an emotional wreck. I broke up with this one guy that literally treated me amazing. He was perfect, to date this literally psychopath guy. If you watch any of my videos, it's chapter 2. This is what chapter 2 of my life. And so I get in this like super horrible, mentally abusive relationship. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, my anxiety like just keeps getting worse, and like at this time I still don't know I have anxiety. I just think that I'm just keep getting crazier and crazier. So now it's my senior year, I have to figure out where I'm going to college. I'm dating the sociopath, like my best friend, and we get into a huge fight because of all of this, because she knows that I shouldn't be doing this, and I'm making bad decisions and being a bad person just like he is. And there's just one day, and like, I'll remember it for the rest of my life, like it was literally yesterday, and I literally just had like an emotional mental breakdown at school. And I felt like I couldn't breathe, and I just don't know, like, I'll literally never forget it. But I was at school, all this was happening, my friends wouldn't talk to me because they thought I was making bad decisions. Like, I don't even know at this point if I knew I was going to move or not. Like, I moved 1,000 miles away, like, a few months after this. And then, the guy that I was talking to, he was not helping, he was not being a good person. And I was at school and I wanted to leave, and I couldn't leave because my mom had to call, even though I had my driver's license, like, my mom had to call and release me from school, and she wasn't picking up the phone because she was at work. So I'm like just sitting there, and then I pace the hallways back and forth because I feel like I'm going to die, like, for real. Like, I can't breathe, like, I don't know what's wrong with me, and I can't get out of the school because I can't leave, and so it just makes it work. So I feel like I'm suffocating. I'm literally just sitting here, like, clearly there's nothing wrong with me, there's nothing around me, but I can't breathe. And so, like, I go to the bathroom and I cry, I go in the hallways and I cry, I keep going back to the office, like, hoping that she'll call back, and literally I just felt like my life was over. Like, it was really bad, but mostly because I just felt like I couldn't breathe, and there was nothing wrong, like, there's nothing blocking my airways, like, I just couldn't breathe. And so after all this happened, finally I got to go home, but, like, I was like, I need to go to the doctor, like, there's something wrong with me, like, I shouldn't, like, it doesn't even matter, like, nothing is really that bad happening in my life, like, it is what it is, like, life's life. And so I go to the doctor, I explain, like, everything that's going on with me, and he's like, oh yeah, you have anxiety, let's get you some medicine. And I'm like, what? Like, no, I don't have anxiety, like, my mom and sister have anxiety, like, I know people that have it, that's not what I have. Like, there's no way that, like, all these things my whole life were because of anxiety, like, there's just no way. And so then I do a lot of research on it, and, like, I've read every single thing about anxiety, like, every single Google page, every single book, like, just trying to figure out, like, why that I feel the way. And, like, as I'm flipping through these pages and scrolling through all these pages, like, it just all makes sense, like, not being happy, like, the mood swings, like, always being tired and wanting to sleep, like, not being happy with myself, having no confidence, like, being, like, just genuinely scared every single day of my life to open my mouth, like, it just, like, it all clicked and it made sense for me. And I was like, wow, like, I'd been living, you know, with a shell over me my whole life. And if somebody literally just would have told me what was wrong with me and told me that it was going to be okay, like, maybe I wouldn't have, like, been the way that I am, I guess. So, I don't want to cry because it's not a big deal. Like, it's over with now. But anyways, after that, I started taking medicine, and anxiety and depression medicine, and that helped a lot. So, I started taking that when I was, like, 17, and I took it all the way up to, like, last year. And so, with, like, even though, like, I'm diagnosed and, like, I know, like, you know, I'm gonna have really bad days, and I can't, like, go into any new situations and be just okay or happy about it. Like, even when I'm going, like, to a new movie theater or going to a new Walmart, like, I literally just, anxiety just washes over me, and I just get so scared, like, because I don't know, like, what's gonna happen, or if somebody's, like, if I just get super anxious when I have to go somewhere new. Like, even, like, moving to a new town, which I did, like, eventually I moved away again and had to start all over again. Like, it's just really scary. So, all of that happened, and I started taking my medicine, and, like, also with medicine, like, there's side effects from the medicine. So, even though, like, I'm doing a little better, like, I don't have, and the thing that I had, like, in school that one day, like, it was just a huge major anxiety or panic attack, whatever it was. Like, that was just the first big one that I'd ever had. Like, nothing had ever, like, made me feel that way and, like, washed over me and just drove me insane like that. So, like, that was my first big panic attack, whatever it was. And I think that's the only time I've ever really had one. I've got, like, obviously, whenever you go through a lot of emotional stuff, like, you can backtrack and get super anxious and depressed again, but obviously, you know, other things have happened to me in my life that have made me feel, like, you know, go back to that way. But I'm, you know, every single day, like, I'm learning, like, how to cope with it and how to do better. And so about a year ago, I stopped taking my medicine because it was making me feel super sick. And if I missed one pill, then, like, the next day I would be so sick and I couldn't even go to work. Like, my head would pound, like, and I never get headaches or anything. Like, I would have major headaches. I would, you know, make my, like, literally get so sick because, you know, that's just the effects of the medicine. And so, like, after a few years on it, I'm like, okay, like, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm gonna learn how to cope with it and figure it out. Like, this medicine, like, it's just not worth it to me to be so miserable all the time, even though, you know, I was pretty miserable before. But so I stopped taking it, and, like, I've been doing a lot better. And, like, you know, I watch my sister and brother and my mom, like, they all have anxiety too, and, like, they're all growing too. So, like, it's definitely something that, you know, it's not like once you have anxiety, like, you'll never be able to do anything or leave the house. Like, some people are like that, but there's definitely ways to fight it and to get over it. And, you know, when I was growing up, like, I never thought that I would do any of the things that I can do now. Like, now I run my own, like, a clothing store not by myself, clearly, but, like, on my own. Like, I manage my own clothing, like, a clothing store. Like, that's just crazy to me. When I was growing up, like, I was too afraid to even talk. Like, I didn't think I could manage anyone. And, you know, I've just had so many opportunities. Like, I've gotten to do hair and makeup for, like, Charleston Fashion Week. Like, I didn't think I'd ever be able to do something like that. And even now, like, I've done a lot of modeling here in Charleston, and, like, never in a million years, like, when I was growing up, did I think that I could be able to stand in front of a camera in front of strangers and, like, smile and laugh and joke around and do all this other stuff. And I'm not saying that, like, that stuff's easy, because there's a lot of times whenever I do have to go, like, today, I look a little crazy because I just got back from a photo shoot. But, like, the whole time when I was at the photo shoot, like, all the other girls were laughing and having fun and fake laughing, and, like, I don't know them, so this is new. Every time I'm in a new environment or around new people, like, I get super, you know, weird, and I get super afraid and I don't talk, and, you know, they think I'm weird. But anyways, like, that's a struggle too. But, like, even now, you know, this has been years later, and I still have to deal with anxiety every single day and all that other kind of stuff. And I also have a lot of days where, like, I'll be completely fine and happy, and then the next day I'll just be miserable and crying and cry myself to sleep. And, like, that's just something I'm gonna have to deal with, like, for the rest of my life, because that's just it. And I think that that's how life is anyways. Like, not necessarily everybody that has anxiety, like, goes through all these, you know, everybody has good and bad days, but I just think mine are sometimes a little worse than normal. But like I said, I was doing really good for a very long time. Like, since I've moved here, like, a lot of stuff went down with the psycho guy that I was dating, and that, like, had me feeling super depressed and anxious. But I was doing good for a while, doing whatever I needed to do, and then recently I went through another breakup, and that literally took a huge toll on me. And so I've been struggling like the past few weeks, which is one reason why I want to make this video, because like it's just something I'm gonna have to deal with the rest of my life, like, and I just don't want other people that are out there like to think that they're alone, because that's how I felt growing up, is that I was alone and that there was nobody else like me. And I just wish that I would have had somebody growing up to tell me that it was going to be okay, and that, you know, that I wasn't crazy, and that I was going to be fine. And, you know, obviously, like, I had my mom, like, she was super supportive, but I didn't have anybody, like, you know, closer to my age to tell me that it was going to be okay. So that's one thing that I'm looking forward to do in my life, is to help like young guys, like obviously young girls, and whoever needs help, like in middle school and high school, like when they're going through stuff. Like, I want to be a mentor and be supportive and tell them that, you know, it's gonna be okay. So